What's up YouTube, your old school expert, and today I'm showing you a nice old school deck profile. This is a legendary Fisherman deck from 2003. This is a deck that I actually made and ran back in 2003. It wasn't the best deck, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And this deck is based on the July 2003 ban list, I believe. So just after Legacy of Darkness came out and was legal. So we'll get started. It obviously runs 3 legendary Fishermen. So he's not good as he is, but when a Legendary Ocean came out in Legacy of Darkness, it really helped the Legendary Fisherman. So he's got a great effect when Umi's on the field. You cannot target him for an attack, and he's unaffected by magic cards. Plus, of course, Umi gives him 200 attack boost, and Legendary Ocean reduces his level, so you can summon him without tributing. So very useful card, and it's pretty much what the deck is built around. Then you got 3 Aqua Spirits. This is just easy special summoning, so it gets a little bricky with 3 sometimes. So I thought about maybe using 2, but I don't have a lot of water monsters. Like, there's just not that much in this era for support. So definitely 3 is what I ended up going with. And they're really easy to use, especially late in the game when you've got water monsters in the graveyard. And she's got a decent effect. Obviously, mermaids use one of those sometimes. So still relevant today. Next we got 2 Penguin Soldiers, because this card's effect is super broken in this format. Anytime anything big or powerful is busted out, Penguin Soldier just messes everything up. So really fun card, and of course it's a water, so it's good fodder for Aqua Spirit. So definitely love Penguin Soldier in this format. Next you got 2 Magician of Faith. Magician of Faith was at 2, and it might have been at 3 even, but it's just too good not to run. There's too many good spell cards / magic cards that I'll show you in a second. So definitely 2 Magician of Faith. Also, this deck is not max rarity, but it is original rarity, because it's a nostalgic deck, and I feel like with nostalgic decks they should be original rarity instead of max rarity. I just think it's more fun. So like my GOAT format deck is max rarity, but this is just original rarity. So 1 Sinister Serpent, obviously was restricted to 1, and really useful, especially with like Graceful Charities, and just a really useful recyclable card. And he's water. 1 Witch of Black Forest, again because she's just so useful and splashable. Pretty much threw her in any deck. No Sangan in this deck though. And then moving on to a couple of beat sticks, we got 7 Colored Fish. So when a Legendary Ocean is out, he's a 2000 attacker with no tribute required. So just really good, and he's water, so just a good card overall. And then we have an Amphibian Beast, just kind of like a beat stick. I really thought about not running this, but I don't have any other good beat stick monsters to put in here. So Amphibian Beast is really pretty much it for like big water monsters that are good enough to use in this deck. It still requires a tribute regardless, but it's a decent card, and it gets over a lot of stuff. It'll get over Jinzo when Legendary Ocean's out. So that is it for the monsters. Not a lot of monsters. I want to say it's like 15 or 17 monsters. And then so moving on to the magic cards, we got 2 Legendary Ocean. Sometimes I wanted to run 3, but then you end up with just extra ones that are just not helpful at all. So 2 Legendary Oceans, and there's 2 Magician of Faith in case you need to get one back if it was destroyed or discarded. So if you don't know what this does, this card's name is treated as Umi. Downgrade all water monsters in both players' hands and on the field by 1 level. So it allows you to normal summon this with no tributes, and increases the attack and defense of all water monsters by 200 points. So again, it's not the greatest deck, it's not the greatest card, but it's a lot of fun. So 2 Legendary Oceans. Then you got 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, just a super easy to use card, really necessary in this format because there's so many good trap cards. And so this was a super useful card. Plus no Heavy Storm in this deck because you didn't want to destroy your own Legendary Ocean, so you main deck 2 of those. Next we got 2 Graceful Charities because they're just amazing, and they're at 2 in this format, so definitely 2 of those. 1 Pot of Greed, of course. Then you got your board wiping stuff, so 1 Dark Hole and 1 Raigeki. Gotta have these, so not much to explain. They are what they are. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, definitely better than Heavy Storm, especially in this deck, and super useful. So this makes it, while Heavy Storm does not. Then we got a Painful Choice. This is good, not just for deck thinning, but it sends water monsters to the graveyard so that you can use Aqua Spirit, and it allows you to just get stuff out of your deck that you don't necessarily need or want at that time. So very good card, and it's a 41 card deck. This is the 41st card, so it's kind of useful in that sense. Then we got the two hand destructions. We got Forceful Sentry and Delinquent Duo. Pretty straightforward. Almost took out Delinquent and just kept the Forceful just because this card is probably better, honestly. I always liked using it better. It doesn't cost any life points. You get to see your opponent's hand, and if they have a Sinister Serpent, this kind of isn't as great, whereas this is still really useful. So definitely put both of them in since I had room for them. Then we got the two Change Your Heart and Snatch Steal, the two Monster Stealers. Very useful cards. The two Reborn Magic cards, we got Premature Burial and Monster Reborn. Also, standard, just really useful Magic cards. You can see why now I run two Magician of Faith in here, because there's just so many ridiculously powerful and now banned Magic cards. And moving on to the traps. So we got two Tornado Balls. This card's not that great, but it's kind of funny when it's out there and you don't really have any monsters and your opponent can't get rid of this because they're just sitting there. I mean, they can't hurt your life points. It's like a, basically if Umi is on the field and obviously Legendary Ocean's name is treated as Umi, then you can activate this card and you take no damage to your life points. So it's just kind of like a stall tactic. And it's just a little bit fun to play. I run two. You could probably get away with just one, but so two Tornado Balls. You know, this is where my deck is kind of weird. I run two Solemns. Solemn Judgment was at 3. I run 2 because I don't have room for a third one, but 2 is actually pretty good because you honestly don't want this card early in the game. If you run 3, you're probably going to get one early, and you just pay so many life points to use it. So this is good late in the game. Running 2 allows you to get it more later in the game, and this card just shuts everything down. So it's a great counter, and it's a lot of fun. Plus, it's a lot of security. You know, when you set this card and or you've got this card set and you're about to attack, you know, you're afraid of a Mirror Force, a Magic Cylinder, you don't have anything to worry about. So 2 Solemn Judgments. Call the Haunted, pretty standard. Gotta have that. A Mirror Force, again, that's really standard, just monster destruction. Imperial Order, obviously you want that, but you want to be careful about it because this deck runs so many Magic cards that you just don't want to keep this up there for too long. You want to burn it. In the old format, you could just burn it, so that's definitely what you want to do with that. And then Torrential Tribute, of course, it's a Mako Tsunami card, so you got to run it, but it's also really helpful as a nice board wiping trap card. So that is the deck. No side deck. I actually have somewhat of a side deck put together, but it's not that relevant because this is just for fun. It's not really like a competitive deck or anything. And I did play test it against a buddy of mine, and it worked okay. So more play testing and tinkering to come, but I really like the deck. It's a lot of fun. It's great for the July 2003 format. And it's just insanely nostalgic because I did run almost this exact deck back in 2003. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the deck. Let me know what you think about it, and stay tuned for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh videos.